like you down the trip, like real players from the hood. Any bad picks here.
Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check.
Man, with my fourth pick in the second round, I'm going to go with Jalen, underappreciated Brown. Boston Celtics.
Also a first-time All-Star in 2021. Jalen Brown goes to LeBron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names left. KD.
I'll take those 6.
I like that. The fifth pick in the second round. This guy is going crazy this year. First-time All-Star, Julius Randle.
You just got a whole New York tri-state area. I was really happy for Julius Randle. This year.
And the New York Knicks.
Yeah, and you gotta be happy for the Knicks.
Gotta be happy.
Tibbs has done Tibbs, West, they've done a hell of a job up there.
Playing 500 ball as we speak.
They have. They did a hell of a job with the Knicks so far this year, for sure.
You got 5 pick. Yeah.
In the second round. My fifth pick in the second round. It's the only time I'll root for this guy or this team because we are enemies. Nah, just making fun of it. But I'm going with Paul George, PG-13, from the Los Angeles Clippers.
There were 4 names left. 2 of those play for the team with the best record in the NBA, the Utah Jazz. Let's see what Kevin Durant.
The sixth pick in the second round for Team Durant. This guy's been playing in Orlando for the last few years. We'll go with Vucevic. Kendrick Perkins can't say his name right, but I got it right.
Second-time All-Star, Nikola Vucevic, and he's on Team Durant. Okay, you got 3 left up there.
Yeah, I got to get a little size. You know, I'm lacking a little size in my second group. So with my sixth pick, I'm going to go with Big Sabonis out of Indiana.
Domantas Sabonis was not voted a reserve, but because of the injury.
Well, first of all, he should have been a reserve offer. I'm not going for this Utah Jazz slander right now.
Me neither.
Come on, man. The best record in the NBA. They 2 best players in the last 2 standings.
I'm not going for
it. This is slander, America. Oh, God.
Yeah, Shaq's not in your ear, is he? Come on, what's going on? Here we go. JD, you're up.
Seventh pick, last pick for me. I need a basket. I'm going to give me a bucket. Let me get Donovan Mitchell.
The 27-8 Utah Jazz, as we speak, represented by those 2 players. Donovan Mitchell goes to Team Durant, and Rudy Gobert goes to Team LeBron.
Do you guys remember that girl, Chantal? She's gone missing. I want to find her, but I need you guys' help. I'm being followed.
We welcome you back. All-Star game Sunday in Atlanta. It's here at 5:30 or 5 o'clock. We've got plenty of pregame, including the Taco Bell Skills Challenge, 3-point contest, got the slam dunk at halftime. Game is at 8 o'clock, and you'll see it on TNT. Plenty of memories to be made every All-Star year.
Yes. It's your first All-Star game, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, good, man. Here's your first All-Star game. You get $108. Crazy.
It seems like just a blink, doesn't it, KD? Back in 2010 in Dallas with about 1 million people in the stands, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I
LeBron in that little sequence right there. You know what I'm saying? But that was fun for sure.
And I know D-Wade, you'll never forget that day. You were the MVP.
I was. You could have went to Brian, could have went to Melo, but I got a chance to get it. So, and you guys know, been an All-Star game, Chuck. You want to try to walk away with some kind of trophy one time. So I was able to do it.
Yeah, I got lucky to win MVP one year. I think it was in Charlotte, and it's always an honor. I was fortunate to play in 11 All-Star games. Every time is special. You think it was, you don't know the time you got the MVP, stop it. I don't, you know, man, what's it? I don't actually, I think it was, it was like 27 years ago. I don't remember when I was 27 years ago.
Hey, let's go over the rules. The rules of the draft are so basic that even Charles understands them. LeBron, as the leading vote getter overall, will draft first. He and Kevin will alternate, choosing first from the starters. The only twist is that with KD out, Jason Tatum has replaced him as a starter, so there were 9 starters to choose from rather than 8. So after LeBron's 4th pick, the last 2 players left will go to Team Durant, and Kevin will have the first pick of the reserves. Everybody square with the rules. Everybody ready to go. Okay, I see a knowing nod from both captains. LeBron, you're first. You're up. Who you got?
With my first pick in the 2021 All-Star Game, Team LeBron selects Giannis Antetokounmpo. Greek Freak.
Charles and Kenny were also on board with that. KD, the first pick has been made. What do you got?
With the second pick in 2021 in the All-Star draft, I'm going to select Kyrie Irving.
Brooklyn teammate goes to Kevin Durant. This is kind of playing out the way I thought it might play out. LeBron, especially if you take the guy that I'm thinking you're going to take right now. You're up.
With my second pick, Team LeBron selects Chef Curry.
Yes.
Why did you know? I like the I'm sorry. I'll take Luka.
If I had a chance to take Giannis and Steph, with my first pick, I think I would go that direction. Yeah, how are you gonna go wrong with your draft pick with this field? So go ahead, Tim.
For my second pick, I'm going to go Joel Embiid.
Yes. That's about right. You got to balance it out. Since he's not playing, you got to give Kyrie somebody to you can throw that ball inside too. I like that.
All right, LeBron.
With my third pick, I'm going to go with Luka Magic from the Dallas Mavericks.
You still got him, Brian. And I got him to Team LeBron, but you got him to Team LeBron.
Okay.
Inside jokes are not allowed out here.
You got 4 names.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct, but it's wordy and hard to read. It undermines the writer's message, and the word choice is bland. Grammarly's cutting-edge technology helps you craft compelling, understandable writing that makes an impact on your reader.
Montrezl Harrell offered some sharp criticism of NBA officiating after being hit with a technical for yelling and one in the second quarter.
Everybody on the bench, everybody in the announcement, the scores table said, you can't do that. You can't do it. I take this as and one. If I'm going to go take this and one man, then they might just take that part of it. I'll tell you the rest of that and have a good one.
Stephen A., I'll let you take this. Does the NBA have an officiating problem?
Yes, they do, but I'd like to say this first. If he deserves a technical, it's for the damn Wardrobe. He deserves a technical foul for that personally. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I just want to throw that out there. He makes a lot of money. He can dress better than he dresses. Having said all of that, he's a hell of a player. He goes after it. I got a lot of respect for Montrezl Harrell. He's absolutely right on this as well. It's gotten to the point where it's just too damn ridiculous. Let me tell the NBA something. I love the NBA. I've been associated with the NBA gotten a bit excessive. When you are getting technical fouls for screaming and one, when you two are just jobbing at one another, and that's all. But ain't no fists being thrown or anything like that. I totally understand the notion. You don't wait for something bad to happen to sort of cut it off at the path. But these guys, give them credit for being the responsible individuals that they are, while also being highly competitive. If they want to talk junk to one another, let them talk junk to one another. When Damian Lillard hits a game-winning shot and waves goodbye to Russell Westbrook and Paul George when they were in Oklahoma City, what are you going to do, stop the game and call him to the line and give him a technical foul because he waved goodbye to them? What are we doing here? The fact of the matter is that David Cook was on the floor the other night. The Phoenix Suns haven't been relevant in years. Monty Williams is doing a hell of a job. They're 15-3 in their last 18 games. They're the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. They're going up against the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James. And their star gets ejected for what? For what? You got Donovan Mitchell last night in Philadelphia. You know, you're making calls all over the place that they got question marks about. You're going to throw them out of the game in overtime. You're literally going to impact the game by throwing out the star in overtime. That's no regard for the fans. Let's just call it what it is. That's no regard for the fans. And yes, they're not. Let's get this workout started.
Experience the new Peloton Tread with Total.
Look at this one, because he was talking about something. He wasn't complaining about just the issues that he was talking about the issues throughout the season. When he's talking about you watch the games, I watch the games, we see what the numbers going on. The issues are too excessive. I'm not going to even get into the particulars of last night because it's a bigger issue that I think needs to be brought to the forefront. Whether it's the NBA's fault, they're bringing a heavy hand on the officials, or whether it's the officials being soft mentally and being overly sensitive to every little thing that's going on with these players. We got a problem in the National Basketball Association right now when it comes to these officials. Listen, the other night, I watched the Los Angeles Lakers go up against Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns, and I brought this up yesterday. And we're talking about the Phoenix Suns being relevant, being exceptionally well coached by Monty Williams, having a star on their squad in Devin Booker, and for some unforeseen reason, only known to the officials, Devin Booker gets ejected. There's not fisticuffs going on here. It's not a fight that broke out or anything like that. What the hell is he getting ejected for? It's bad enough we don't have fans in attendance because of COVID-19 for the most part. But then on top of it all, we're watching, asking people to watch your product at home on television, and one of the stars, you're going to eject him for that reason? Donovan Mitchell is playing last night. It's overtime. They're balling. They're going at each other. Embiid is in the midst of a 40 and 19 performance. Ben Simmons, like you said, was balling out defensively. Donovan Mitchell had about 33 points, but it was on 34 shots, which isn't that impressive. I get it. But damn it, he's still Donovan Mitchell. And when you talk about the Utah Jazz, and you're talking about them being in a small market, and honestly, people not really rooting for them per se, because nobody wants to see Utah in the finals, because that's what they were alluding to. Then you know what? We have to understand that and be able to say, okay, wait a minute, let's pay attention to what's going on here. Donovan Mitchell gets ejected in overtime of the game. Are you kidding me? Donovan Mitchell, the Utah Jazz. You want people to pay attention to watch the Utah Jazz, and you're going to throw their star out of the game for what exactly? And this is the kind of stuff that's been going on for quite a long time. Started addressing, obviously, because of the malice in the palaces in Auburn Hills from years ago. LeBron testing those boys running into the stands. We got all of that. The dress code soon followed and all of this other stuff. We got all of that too. You want to ingratiate yourself with the masses in America, okay? Because over 60% of the American population is white. You got black folks out there in the NBA, you know, and when they got into the fight, some folks said, hey, you know what? This can alienate the masses from really supporting your product. We got it then. But now we're talking about the year 2021, and you literally can get thrown out of a game for passing games. I mean, you can't even sit up there and verbally dismiss that notion because you see too many ejections, too many technical fouls being handed out, and you find yourself scratching your head for what? For what? The other day, Montrezl Harrell got a technical foul for screaming and one after he made a basket. What? What? And when something's been going on, you just try to stay there. I've spoken to many players this year that have been complaining before about officials that have performed. The officials have said, you have no idea what these players say to them. You have no idea how they get it up. It's ridiculous. They're perfectly justified in going right back at them. But in the end, we want to see the players. And you know, you got to figure out a way to keep them in the damn game instead of ejecting them from the game and robbing the fans out of way what we want to see. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube.
My meal kit delivery, I chose the vegetarian box, and the meals that I received were the salsa verde enchiladas, harissa sweet potato pockets, and the Mediterranean baked veggies, which you guys are going to watch me make right now. I've tried a lot of meal kit services in my day, and so I thought I knew exactly what to expect when these showed up to my door. But holy guacamole, I am not lying to you guys when I say that these meals were so much better than meal kit delivery services I've seen.
In terms of their dominance in the game, you don't want ever was as dominant if they got the ball down low as Shaquille O'Neal. But Embiid in this NBA in particular is also impossible. He's a legit 7-footer, Stephen A. 250. He's a 7-footer and a wide body, and he's in shape now. But so the down low skills are there. He's shooting fewer threes, and he's more down in the paint than before. And as a result, he's at the line more than ever before. He's shooting 86%. Free throws, much better than Shaquille O'Neal ever did. And even though he's shooting fewer threes, like 2 or 3 a game, 2.5, 3 threes a game, he's hitting them at like 40% or a little better even right now, Embiid. The difference primarily between Shaq and Embiid in terms of all-around skill is Embiid can shoot. In fact, there's never been in the history of the NBA a 7-footer who's a big 7-footer, not a power forward, a center who can play with his back to the basket with the all-around skills of Embiid. You know, I'm cheating a little bit there because Duncan and Olajuwon were like, you know, a little shorter. Embiid can do everything you want a center to do. He's the most skilled, legit 7-foot wide body ever. My response to that is Joel Embiid can shoot the ball better away from the basket. He's clearly a better free throw shooter. And so if you want to look at it from a skill perspective, they're both over 7 feet tall. Embiid can do a little bit more. Will I argue with you when you made the points that you made? No, not at all. Here's my retort to it, however. I don't give a damn. It means nothing. Because it ain't about what you can do. It's about what you actually do. And Shaquille O'Neal was 7'1", 320 pounds, was a man amongst boys, and played like it every night for the vast majority of his career. He treated you like the child you were. He wasn't some pretty boy with a curly afro pulling up from 20 or 23. He wasn't sitting up there trying to dance and dribble the ball on the perimeter and had to wait until a coach got fired and they got tired of getting swept in the playoffs to learn that you're supposed to have your big butt down low and be a man amongst boys. I recall Joel Embiid going on national television and saying, Shaq's right. Get your big behind back down in the post and be a man. And manhandle these young boys. Because compared to you, they are boys. You're making them look like men. Because you're not playing as hard as you can play. You are not dominating them. Which was why Shaq at the time, about a year and a half ago, Max, if you recall, sat up there and said if he had to take off his Superman cape and give it to somebody, it would have been the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo. Because he goes in the hole and treats boys like they are. Boys. What we're seeing from Joel Embiid now, you applaud him for that. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it because I love Joel Embiid. What I'm saying is that it also illuminates what he hasn't done. But he could have done it all along. Did he gain extra pounds? Did all of a sudden he acquire skills he didn't have? These things that you're seeing from Joel Embiid right now are skills he had last year, skills he had the year before, skills he had the year before that. And when healthy, he's still in use. So when you sit up here and you talk about Joel Embiid and what he's doing, what you're missing is that the ultimate indictment against him is that he didn't learn and acquire something new. Doc Rivers came to the skills. And by the way, hold on. I'm not saying that you can bury the attitude. I'm saying you lost. I'm saying you're omitting it and just talking about a skill. Yeah, because that's like somebody learning from Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman, you're teaching them boxing. You're teaching them oratorical skills and what have you. And you even invite them to Columbia with you. And then they get on the air and they start mumbling like Shaq. You'd have a problem with that. Because you know they know better. You know they know better. I understand your point, but I am just talking about skills. I'm making a specific point about skills. At his size, there's never been anyone like MB. And in this NBA, Stephen A., the offensive skills are just half of it. He's the best defender in the league probably this year. And think of how versatile you have to be defensively now compared to back in the day as a big today. I didn't think it was possible for a back-to-the-basket type guy, which MB can do, to be an MVP. But right now, I think he is. I saw him put him, I brought this up yesterday. I saw him put a move on Cleveland over the weekend. A step back, mid-range jump shot, and I didn't know it was Embiid at first. I thought it was a guard or a forward. What? That's Joel Embiid? His skills, we've never seen anything like it in a package like this. And the fact that he can apply it in the modern NBA, both ends of the floor, all I'm saying is we're seeing something that new. Fine. And here's my retort to that. Next element, Joel Embiid is shooting 52% from the field. Do you realize that's the first time in his career he shot better than 50%? Moved inside. Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal shot better than 52 or 50% from the field the first 17 years. Yeah, 17 all high percentage shots. So what I'm saying is, knowing who you are and dominating from that perspective, you got when you look at the skill, I'm saying you could afford it. I'm saying it's an indictment against Embiid because the skills have been there. You could have been doing this. Philly might not have been swept last year. Philly might have been to the finals 2 years ago. You want to give him flowers for what he is now, or you want to beat him up for what he was? Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sport.
De la planification à la gestion, jusqu'au commerce en ligne.
When I saw him sign this $23 million guarantee, the guarantee is $23 million, I said, excuse me. That dude is being paid like he's closer to elite than average. Let me look at this. And as it turns out, J.J. Watt, in terms of his win percentage for his matchup, is elite. He's top 10. He wins his matchup more than almost anyone else in football at his position when he's on the field. Now, injuries have been a concern. But when he's on the field, he is not just closer to elite, you might say he's still elite. Just because he's not what he was in his prime doesn't mean he's not elite. In his prime, he was in the top, uppermost tier of greatest front seven players who ever lived. Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, Bruce Smith, Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt is right there with those guys in his prime. So just because he's fallen off, don't mean he's fallen off closer to average. He's still, as it turns out, closer to elite than average, and that's why he got paid.
Me personally, I have no problem with him getting paid. He's a future Hall of Famer. When you think about guys with the most sacks since 2012, Chandler Jones is number one, J.J. Watt is number two. This brother is a future Hall of Famer. Make no mistake about it. We know how formidable he is. We also know what a leader he is. We understand what a leader in the community he is. I'm a huge fan of J.J. Watt. I believe he will be elite. But basically, right now, at this point in time, he appears to be closer to average than elite. I don't think that will last. I think that he's contaminated by the entire Texas organization. All that nonsense that was going on within that organization, which is universally recognized right now as one of the worst organizations in all of football. Which is why Deshaun Watson wants out, which is why J.J. Watt apologized to Deshaun Watson because he recognized the cesspool that he was a part of. He wanted out, and he knows that Deshaun Watson deserves out. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he's had 9 sacks over the last 2 years. That he hasn't been the dude that we've known him to be. That registered about 18 sacks in 2018. I'm not saying that'll last. I believe in J.J. Watt, and I believe that he will make a difference in Arizona. Here's where I think he also kind of blew it. J.J. Watt clearly wants to be in a position. not saying that can't happen with Arizona. But if you predicting that Arizona's going to do it ahead of the other options he got available to him, whether it was Pittsburgh, whether it was Green Bay, or another team, I would challenge anybody in that. In the NFC West, when you got Seattle, you got the Los Angeles Rams with the elite defensive Matthew Stafford there instead of Jerry Goff. You got Jimmy Garoppolo coming back with Debo Samuel, with George Kittle and others, and Kyle Shanahan coaching that team. Bigger things aren't expected of the San Francisco 49ers. You've got three teams within the division that are considered better than you. Now, does that mean you want to leapfrog over one of them? Sure. What's the likelihood of you leapfrogging over all three of them? I sincerely doubt it. So in that regard, I would say J.J. Watt might have gone to the wrong team because at this stage and point in his career, he clearly wants to compete for a Super Bowl championship. And although there's parity in the National Football League, you can stick up the joint one year and go to the Super Bowl the next year. And we understand that with Arizona, it's definitely possible. I've got some questions about Kingsbury. Although I don't have those questions about Colin Murray. I think Colin Murray can ball. But I got questions about Kingsbury. He still has a lot to prove to me as a head coach. But when I look at J.J. Watt, fantasizing about him and Chandler Jones, and that's something to prove himself. And all of them are going to play one game last year. We'll see what transpires. It's just that at this particular moment in time, even though we believe in J.J. Watt, I don't think we can look at him and think about anything other than closer to average than elite at this particular moment, even if we believe that will not last because he's with a different organization he's actually interested in playing for that deserves his service.
Well, first of all, closer to average. I just disagree based on the evidence. I said top 10. Steve, I meant top 10%. He was 15th in 2020. Watt ranked this from on ESPN.com. By the way, 15th out of 119 qualified pass rushers in pass rush win rate, according to ESPN stats and information. So 119 guys qualified, and he's top 10%. There are only 14 guys with a better win rate against their pass block. But that's elite production. Now, you could say, well, injuries have kept him off the field enough that you can't consider him really elite because, the best ability is availability. But I also wonder if he can get over the injuries, maybe that's actually affecting him when he's actually playing, right? It's not just like acute injury, you come back, now you're 100%. Sometimes you're less than 100%, and yet he's 15th out of 119 that qualify in win rate. He wins his matchup more than almost anyone else. And in terms of Arizona, it's interesting. He and DeAndre Hopkins are back on the same team. And it's almost like J.J. Watt saying, okay, Texans, remember, think of all the icons for that franchise. Andre Johnson, J.J. Watt, and now Sean Watson, who've spoken out essentially against the franchise. J.J. Watt goes and joins DeAndre Hopkins. Of course, that's number one. He goes and joins DeAndre Hopkins with Kyler Murray. Maybe it shows the Texans what might have been. But you said it, Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt, oh my God, off either end, that's a whole lot of. And I'm not sure that Arizona won't be the best team in the division. I think it's going to be a very tightly contested division. It's a really good one. But Kyler Murray is still ascending. Matt Stafford, not ascending anymore in LA. And the addition of a pass rusher like J.J. Watt could be a tipping point on the defense. And DeAndre Hopkins is there. I don't know. I think Arizona is as competitive as anyone in the NFC West.
They could be, but we don't know that for sure. Because we know that they have a coach that on the collegiate level, he never really worked. There was a legitimate question as to whether or not he deserved the head coaching job. He's gotten the head coaching job, but they've had some good moments there. I'll give him credit for that. But in the same breath, we looked at Kyler Murray, some of the things that have transpired, and we said, we questioned whether or not he needs better coaching on the NFL level from time to time. Watching him go out on that football field and play against the odds that were stacked against him because of his coach.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.
Grammarly helps make your writing clear and concise, no matter where you are. With Grammarly on your computer.
Stephen A., point blank. Do you believe law?
Now, fine. And I say that respectfully. I say that affectionately because I have a lot of love for J.J. Watt for what I do.
Moving up to light heavyweight, talk to me. What would it mean to you to capture a title in
his game, but then being, like you said, the fifth athlete in the sports history to hold 2 belts simultaneously, that just really etched it into this books the real world.
Israel, what do you think? I mean, you're 20-0. You're 9-0 since you have entered the UFC in February 2018. What do you believe you need to show this Saturday night? Is it just about winning, or are you on a mission to really, really showcase something that we may not have seen from you? What's your mentality like coming into this fight?
A little bit of both. It's not just about winning. I always win. I win in spectacular fashion when someone comes to play. This guy's coming to play for real. But also, yes, I am a bit.
He stands 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in at 184 pounds. Maleek, out of Auckland, New Zealand, the Vancouver Nigeria, presenting the interim UFC middleweight champion. He is the last Israel
Adesanya taking on that man, the forgotten man in this equation somewhat, Razor Rob Wilkinson.
You ready? Let's go, gentlemen.
Right now. Oh, it's a beautiful shot with the roll. Oh, nice jab. He can run it with the takedown.
Even when it gets partial.
Yeah, done with these gloves, it makes no difference. Nice knee.
Pressing forward. Oh, uppercut followed up with an 8.
Trying to take Wilkinson apart with the strikes. That hurt it.
Not sure how much more Wilkinson can take. Adesanya to the knee, now back to the hands. Wilkinson exhausted, attempted 16 takedowns. And the end here might be a formality.
Yeah, this guy is done. That's it.
Israel Adesanya. So according to him.
His first main event in the UFC. Israel Adesanya. Does the hype train continue tonight? 5 rounds. In the middleweight division. Both team gets it started.
The third or fourth punch.
High kick, spinning kick, Tavares.
Adesanya fighting the range now.
Keep the fingers closed of Adesanya. Body kick. Nice. Tavares. I think he did. Tavares down on the mat. Kick up top. Residual. Look at that outlet. Beautiful.
Number 6 in the world taking on the 9th ranked Israel Adesanya. Pleasantly surprised that Silva is still fighting as Adesanya enters his. It's getting Anderson to fight on the feints. He fakes. Now Anderson's chasing. Adesanya tucks Silva. Oh, he's right there. Bobble out of Silva. Big right hand now from Adesanya. And now on the knee for good measure. More feints from Anderson to help.
it's what dreams are made of, you know? You're there with a guy that wants to take what's yours. It's the best feeling in all sports. Goes on the big action. That right hook comes is landing beautiful. I mean, now it's still landing. He gets ready for her.
Now he's not going to force the finish. Oh, beautiful body work now from Asanya.
He's got to be very careful.
Declaring the winner by knockout. And now, the undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, the last bender, Israel Adesanya.
in the sense that I kind of want to. I am a bit greedy in the sense that I kind of want to showcase a facet of my game that hasn't been seen much, which is the grappling aspect. But he might want to showcase his stand-up and show that legendary personality he's talking about. So, yeah, depending on how he wants to play, that's how it's going to go out.
You're a pleasure for the fight game to watch because your style is, I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like it. You switch hit like Terrence Crawford, the welterweight champ. You never know where the shot's going to come from. It's elbows, legs, arms, right-handed, left-handed, front foot, back foot, the whole thing. And we've seen, like, the Brunson fight, the strong guy trying to take you down, couldn't do it. Anderson Silva, the legend, but he's older. The Gastelum fight, like, that to me showed me something that I hadn't seen, where you got rocked and you came back and won. What did that moment mean to you in terms of your development as a fighter and a champion? To have that rocky moment that you had to overcome, as opposed to just dominating the guy the entire time.
Yeah, that was a moment in my career that was defining, and not just in my career, like in the end of the fourth round, the fifth round, was to make this player quote. I said to him, "You can't beat me. I'm prepared to die," and I said that, and that's like honestly top 3 one of the greatest moments of my life because I let go of everything. I surrendered to the great beyond. I was like, this is how I go out, this is how I go out. But what a glorious death. And when you're ready to die, you're ready to live. And when you're ready to die, you're ready to kill.
Israel, you was obviously been fighting at 185 and moving up to 205 in this fight Saturday night, moving up 20 pounds. And please forgive me, I know you can't look past your opponent, and I'm not asking you to. I really am not. But I know somebody else is the fight at 205, and his name is John Jones.
I don't want to talk about him. I'm sick of his questions.
Okay.
He keeps trapping off my 5 weeks. I don't give a fuck. Focused on one thing and one man only. And that's the barging out Jehovah in front of me. But if I don't get past him, then all that doesn't matter. So right now, this question fight, all I focus on is the guy in front of me. And no cloud trouts.
Okay, the guy in front of Boyovich. Hold on, Max. We have the guy in front of you, Boyovich. Knockout power, that's what they're saying about him. You're moving up 20 pounds to fight a guy with knockout power. How will you fight differently for this fight compared to what you fight at 185?
The same way I fight at 185. I hit and don't get hit. It's the smartest way. I feel to play the game, and I do it very well. My last fight, I don't think I got touched in the face once in 2 rounds. And this guy, he's not as fast. He's a little bit longer. He's very awkward with his style, but they all find out pretty quick once they're in there with me how awkward I am as well. Even though, because I look clean, I look smooth in there, you know what I mean? So when I'm in there, I'm making it look clean, but the cadence is weird, the rhythm is weird, it's awkward, and they can't vibe with me like that.
Your defense is really interesting. Not only you lean straight back, but you do it offline, left and right, and so you're slick and hard to hit. And without getting into John Jones specifically, I know you don't want to mention that, but the light heavyweight division throughout the history of the UFC has been the glamour division. I mean, middleweight, the light heavy somehow has like been the glamour division. Is that meaningful for you to fight at light heavy and win a championship there or try to?
It was the glamour division for a while. You had guys like Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, Tito Ortiz, Rampage Jackson, great fighters like Daniel Cormier, and so on. I guess, it was a stacked division. It was a stacked division for a while. And then eventually, when John started to fight recycled middleweights and recycled opponents and failed to move up in weight, it got stagnant. So, yeah, it was the glamour division, and then, you go in the yard came into the middleweight division, and then put some shine on it, and then there was lightweight as well that was stacked for a long time. So, yeah, for me, it's just a showcase. I mean, I look at this fight, kind of like UFC 101 when Anderson Silva went up to fight Forrest Griffin. And it was a showcase. It was a masterclass. It was in the Matrix, and he knocked him out doing the moonwalk. It was crazy. So, yeah, this is some big shoes to fill.
watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streamings.
What's up, guys? Travis Pastrana here, and I want to give you a one-of-a-kind Subaru street legal version of my
Busy moving up to 205 to try to become the 5th fighter in UFC history to have 2 belts at the same time. But now he throws this curveball. I might weigh in at 193 for a 205 fight. I asked him, like, are you trying to prove a point here? Are you trying to go back to UFC 1 where the smaller guy beat up all the bigger guys and ended up winning twice as crazy?
Moving up to light heavyweight.
Yeah, that moment for me was one of the greatest moments of my life. Just that moment, not the fight. That moment right there was one of the greatest moments of my life. What's up, Yellow Vibe? You know who it is. Busy. I'm about to. I just got chills. Like, legit. Just my back, my shoulders, my arms. I was very confident. And it was like, I couldn't wait to stick it to people right afterwards. So you can be on the mic. I had the chips and the dip on my shoulders, and I was ready to roll.
This man is calm, cool, and collected, and you better be careful in there because there's a lot of different limbs coming your way.
For me, it was just a moment. Like, even when I was walking, I could see how I was just feeling myself. So he started talking on his mouth at me, and I was like, bro, save your breath and look on out. I didn't need it too long. And I stuck my finger in his face. I put the gun in his face, put the thoughts in his head, and he was really slow to react. Assassinated him, like I said. I'm glad this was one of those ones at the time, my most satisfying fight, based on the shit he was talking before the fight. Satisfying master.
That's what I'm talking about. That's technique. That's the lifestyle bender, folks.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Madison Square Garden, the shit he was talking before the fight. He was really slow to react. Assassinated him, like I said. I'm glad this was one of those ones at the time, my most satisfying fight, based on the shit he was talking before the fight. Satisfying master.
That's what I'm talking about. That's technique. That's the lifestyle bender, folks.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Madison Square Garden, him and Hughes and Stark, to be able to, like, my headline, I stole the show. Yeah, I said it. DC and the Black Beast fought that night, but I felt like I stole the show. So yeah, I headlined it in my eyes. I was just a story. Number one, take off the box. I said, you can't beat me. I'm prepared to die. Yeah, that moment was not just in the fight of my career, but one of the defining moments in my life, where you find out who you're really made of. You find out where you're willing to go to get what you want. A lot of people say they're about this life, and you think they want something, but when it's placed in front of them, they fold. And for me, I heard the devil talking to me. I heard that voice in the 3rd round, the 4th round, like, you showed yourself, you dropped it. You survived the storm. It's okay, you just slow down now. It's okay. And I was like, shut up. I'm busy. That's what I did. Because I didn't need that kind of negative self-talk. So, yeah, that moment for me was one of the greatest moments of my life. Just that moment, not the fight. That moment right there was one of the greatest moments of my life. Ooh, this one right here, this is historic, iconic. Walkouts to knockouts. See, back in the day, we used to get made fun of in the streets for dancing like this, for crumping in the streets. So for me, with my brothers, you see the Broken Dance tattoo on Jesse's arm. Boom. Boy. Like, it doesn't get any more buck than this, man. 57,127 people strong. When I, like, flex right there, I remember looking at the big screen, I flexed, and I just knew the beast was out.
Well, we told us on Friday, dance culture is my culture. 2 of those gentlemen he was dancing with, Jay and Jesse, are the men who taught him how to dance. One part
pay you, even like I think it was Tough One in 2005. You could never pay me enough to do it. I was like, nah, don't. This is not what I'm doing. So if you had told me this is what I'd be doing, crazy. I knew straight away. I'm ahead of the game. Basically, I tried to catch it the first time with the right hand. I snatched it in the air with the left. I whipped it. And look how reactive it was. And look how playful I am. And after those people were all the body analysis experts were all like, oh my god, is he so triggered? Why is he so triggered? If you know anything about fighting, you know who really was triggered. You know? I mean, like I said, I was getting dealt ass with belts my whole life, so I know my way around the belt. If I whip my ass with a belt, now I'm a good boy. Snatch that thing with your ass. I remember this moment vaguely. And I was happy for him because, yeah, it's a cool story. You know, he's a guy who was on a 4-1 or 1-4 fight and losing streak or something. And he came back, reassessed his game, reassessed his team, and became the UFC light heavyweight champion. So it's a cool, inspirational story from him. This is where it ends.
Cardio.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming today. We appreciate it. Due to COVID protocols, Edwards and Muhammad aren't here today. Nothing's going to stop the fight or anything. They both had COVID already, so, but you know how that goes.
This game is never. I mean, for the time you came into the UFC, you've been promising greatness, right? You delivered on it over and over, but man, this is a big step up. You know, the legendary Polish power, the size. I mean, in any part along the way of prepping here, did you sit back and say, oh my God, what have we done here? We're not more than we can chew in this.
Never. What a big mess I can get on. For me, this is exactly, like you said, what I've always predicted to do in this game is change the game, change history. And I came in here just over 3 years ago. Look what I've done so far. I got a long way to go.
And that interests me too, right? Because you said that, hey, after this, if you win, you still want to go back and defend that middleweight title. But it's clear you have John Jones' attention. You know, you tease moves to heavyweight as well. I mean, there's all these huge opportunities. So at that point, would another middleweight title defense even interest you, or does it become about chasing, you know, the biggest opportunities available?
It depends. But yeah, middleweight's my division, so I would never iron black fist. So yeah, I'm gonna go back down and handle business there, depending on the lay of the land. But also, I look ahead and see. I peek ahead. I don't look too far ahead because I've got this Viking in front of me. So yeah, I'm looking straight at him. But yeah, I peek ahead and just see what the lay of the land is and how I can change history again.
And you talk about history. I mean, I've heard a lot of people say that you have the ability to transcend the sport, like Conor McGregor. You know, this become this massive global superstar, maybe even bigger than MMA. And do you welcome that? Do you see that for yourself? Is that something that you want, a legacy like that?
It's inevitable. But I just have to get used to it. I just have to accept it and not hide from the role that I'm in, not hide from the platform I'm on. A lot of people get to the spot and they start to like, you know, I'll be here now and like, shit, what is my impressive? Y'all can do that sometimes. But I just accept it, man. It is what it is. I am who I am, so I just roll with it.
I appreciate it. Yo, I wanted to ask you, I mean, you've been chasing this belt for a long time. Now you're up here defending it. Is the feel, is the emotion, is the energy any different now that you're finally the champion and they're having to come at you?
I'm just happy that I can defend my belt against someone like Israel. So that's it, you know, I'm happy, excited, and in a way, you know, step aside and talking to some, you know, fighting against him.
Obviously, he's a fantastic striker, but he's moving up quite a bit. He's going to be a lot smaller than you. Do you see him as a knockout threat? I mean, are you concerned that he could KO you, or do you feel like maybe the size is more of a factor than he's acknowledging?
No, I try to knock him out. defend myself the best I can. Try to use my, more power, my weight to wrestle, to take him down, or, just knock him out. We'll see. But, he is really good striker, so I have to be, watch for everything. Because also he can knock me out.
And everybody seems to be focused on what happens with Israel if he wins. What happens with you if you win? I mean, you can certainly win this fight, so are you thinking, hey, I want to get John Jones' attention, or I want to, think about moving up to heavyweight, or is it just, defend the next light heavyweight?
I don't think right now about heavyweight. I think about 205, I would defend my partner Saturday, and again in the 205. So we will see. First of all, I have to against Israel.
Thanks, John. Dana, just quickly for you, I mean, I know you still got 9 months left in the year, but a lot of people say card of the year already. Can you just talk about putting this card together and what made you decide we're going to do 3 title fights, we're going to blow this thing out of the water like this?
Yeah, no, it just lined up that way. All these fights came together at the same time, and the card is stacked. It's just one of those cards that I'm excited about. My staff is excited about. The internet's excited about it. It's got some good buzz. Fun card. A lot of good talent.
Last thing for me, we've heard about Israel's visions and how quickly he's moved up this career. He talks about fighting in packed stadiums. I'm curious, you were talking about Florida, Texas has opened up this week. I mean, I'm curious if you started talking to Texas, number 1, and number 2, if he wins, do you feel Israel is the type of talent that could sell out a stadium here in the United States as well?
Yeah, I mean, if he keeps doing what he's doing and continues to win, continues to break records and do these things, yeah, like he said, it's inevitable. And yes, as soon as the governor of Texas said that, I called. Dallas said no, and I'm working on Houston. So see if we can get Houston done. I want to go to Texas ASAP. I'll go in the next 2-3 weeks. I'm ready to roll. We'll be first. We'll open this thing up. We'll sell it out and be on our way.
Amanda over here. Obviously, you've at this point fought everyone there is to fight. So I'm curious, what does Megan bring to the table that you haven't seen before?
Every fight is completely different. So I feel like she had the reach, the energy, she's tall. I feel like she's very dangerous. I feel like this is a huge thing again for her. So she's tall and like that. Can really difficult to figure it out. But the first exchange, if I find my timing, everything, I will finish.
At this stage of your career, are those things like the height and the reach exciting things to try and challenge yourself with, to try and overcome?
Definitely. I like to challenge myself. That's why I pick MMA my sport. Challenge myself all the time. This is the fight is going to challenge me and bring up the best of me.
For Megan as well, obviously, Amanda's legacy in this sport is well known at this point, and we can sort of talk about her challenges as what can they do to really fight against, what can they do to challenge her. What do you bring to the table that she hasn't seen before?
I feel like I'm the true first featherweight that she's fought that brings a lot of power. I know Felicia's a featherweight guys can styles make fights, have a lot of power that I bring to the table, and I don't think she's seen her very long time.
At some point, I can imagine when watching tape of Amanda, it would always be overwhelming, but have you seen holes in her game that other women haven't been able to exploit?
I think everyone has holes in their game. I think you just have to find them, and we've looked at the tape and we've got a game plan, so we're ready to capitalize on those moments when we see them.
I think for you, your journey to a UFC title fight has been a long one that's been sort of met with loads of obstacles that aren't necessarily your own fault. So what exactly does it mean for you to be stepping into the octagon on Saturday night to actually finally fight for that UFC title?
Yeah, it's been a long road to get here, but glad that I finally got here. I grew a lot as a person, as a martial artist, getting to this point. But yeah, I'm just ready to put on a show. Everyone's invincible until they're not.
Back here. A lot of time has been made with your credentials, the grappling compared to Pierre's striking. So, but as a grappler, what is your assessment of the champion's grappling?
I think Piotr has very good grappling. I just don't think it's to the level of mine, with the level of competition that I drill with on a daily basis at Sarah BJJ. And some of the competition that he's faced, I've got to train with those guys as well. And I like to think that I'm one of the elite guys out there. And if I get his back, like those guys have got his back in the past, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a short night.
or a similar question. As someone with your striking background, what do you make of Aljamain's striking skills?
У него неплохая удар, но по сравнению с моей я смогу нокаутировать.
Sure, good striking, but compared to mine, I'm sure another question for Piotr. Aljamain has said, to legitimize yourself as a champion, you have to get there. He referred to himself as a young one. Dominic Cruz says, you just need to defend the title, at least once to legitimize yourself. What do you make of these statements, and do you agree to become the champion, you do have to successfully defend your belt first?
Чтобы легитимизировать себя как в качестве чемпиона, тогда что ты стать чемпионом, он говорил, что ты должен победить его. Согласен ли ты с этим? Также Круз говорил о том, что чтобы стать настоящим чемпионом, ты должен защитить его.
Да, безусловно, я должен побить первого претендента, кто заслуживает драться за пояс.
Yes, of course, I need number one contender.
One for Tanner. We've had a lot of very dominant bantamweight champions, but right now it seems like anyone in the top 5 could really contend for the title. Can you remember a time that 135-pound division has been this competitive in these two men?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I love this fight. I feel like this fight is one of those fights where it's two guys in their prime. It's perfect.